The Abkhazians are a small people living in the Caucasus along the Black Sea coast. They have a unique language with the most consonants in the world. There are 60 consonants in the Bzyb dialect. Today we will take a unique journey through the history of the Abkhazians through the study of language and mythology. So let's take a look at the ancient map of the world, where Anatolia will appear before us. We will see the Huttik and Kashkians tribes here. They are the ones we are most interested in. These are distant relatives of the Abkhazian, and today we will see how their languages combine. The Huttians created a civilization on the territory of Anatolia. They founded the cities of Hattusa, Purashanda and others. They were metallurgists who made jewelry. The Huttians are most interesting because they were the first to learn how to melt iron. It was at the beginning of the Bronze Age. Then the Hittites who came from the west invaded the Hutt lands. They took their name upon themselves, and with it the technology of iron smelting. After that, it spread all over the world and the Iron Age began. What do the Abkhazians have to do with it? As a matter of fact, they speak a language similar to the Huttians, and the word iron in Hattik and pre-Abkhazian language is very similar. The Abkhazians found themselves in the Caucasus along with the Makeup culture in the 4th to 3rd millennium BC. They rushed here in search of metals. They lived here parallel to the Huts. Nevertheless, they managed to preserve many linguistic parallels. This is how the names of beech and chestnut converge in the Hattik and West Caucasian languages. Extensive parallels between the Hattik and Abkhaz languages await us in the field of mythology. Ansalai, the name of the main god of the Huttians, has an Abkhazian counterpart Anshva. The Huttik goddess Anan is found among the Abkhaz under the name Ananagunda. The Hattik god Hazamil has a parallel in the form of the Abkhaz god Shashvi through the Proto-Abkhaz root. By the way, it is with this god that the main Abkhaz holiday of Azurnikva is associated. This is a celebration of the creation of the world. It symbolizes the moment when the god Shashvi forged the world out of metal. During it, sacrifices are made at the forge. It is not for nothing that the Abkhazians are a nation of metallurgists. Since the ancestors of the Abkhazians lived on the coast of the Caucasus back in the Bronze Age, they have many linguistic parallels with other peoples of the Caucasus. Here, the list on the left shows Abkhazian words, Kartvelian in the middle, and Nakhdagestanian on the right. For example, the heart in Abkhaz will be Gvy, and in Georgian it will be Guli. The Abkhazians have mythological parallels with other peoples of the Caucasus, for example, the goddess of the sun and the god of the moon. An extensive layer of Abkhazian mythology is dedicated to Narts, great warriors. One of them, Sisrikva, is depicted on the coat of arms of Abkhazia. He made fire for people. The parallels of Greek and Abkhaz mythology are also interesting. The Greeks sailed to the Black Sea coast of the Caucasus starting from the Bronze Age and established their colonies here. They developed trade and created crafts. The Greeks borrowed Caucasian myths and also created new ones based on visits to local countries. It is known that the Titan Prometheus was chained to the mountain of the Caucasus, for giving people fire from Olympus. The Abkhazians have their own myth about this hero. Aberskil, as he is called in the local language, was a great hero of the Narts. Over time, he gained such power that he decided to challenge God himself. He committed blasphemy by cutting down a sacred vine on horseback, the worship of which meant the worship of God. For this, he was chained to a rock and an eagle pecked at his liver every day. The legend of Jason and the Argonauts is also very important. Jason, a Greek youth whose throne has been usurped by his uncle, embarks on a journey to find the golden fleece in the distant land of Colchis. King Aet rules here, whose name translates as falcon. He rules over the warlike people of Koka and he sends Jason the tests that he must pass. Eats has children, Medea is his daughter, who falls in love with Jason and helps him pass all the tests. He also has a son, Apsirdos, whose name is consonant with the self-name of the Abkhazians, Apsua, for a reason. This is a genealogical myth, a common way for the Greeks to describe the kinship and origin of peoples. As a result of the adventures, Jason escapes with Medea on the ship, and Apsurt is thrown overboard. This is a cruel myth, but it describes ancient realities. It is important to note that bride kidnapping plays an important role in the marriage ritual of the Abkhazians. Like the Greeks, earthquakes in Abkhazian mythology were caused by the god of the sea. The Abkhazians call him Hate. To do this, he appeared in the form of a white horse. Abkhazian mythology is imbued with the idea of the unity of man and nature. it is not for nothing that the god Anshva molded the first people from the earth and breathed his soul into them. Apsny, Abkhazians so called their country, means land of soul. Welcome to this interesting place. Subscribe to my page on Patreon, the link will be in the description of this video.